Yesterday, we were talking about Budweiser. They were shipping all this water down to hurricane victims for Harvey down in Houston. And Suzanne found this brewery that was doing it, has been doing it for a long time. But nobody's really heard about this story because they're kind of a smaller craft brewery. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long. I didn't actually get that deep into it yesterday when I was looking at it. But Oscar Blues is another company that's doing the same thing that Anheuser-Busch is doing, I guess. But it's like you only hear about Anheuser-Busch and you don't hear about this other company.
Well, now, okay, earlier I said that they did 800,000, and I looked it up, and actually I was wrong. They did 88,000 cans of water.
Oscar Blue?
Yeah, Oscar Blues. So that's possible reason why Budweiser supplanted them because they're sending more. If they're sending 500,000 versus 88,000, well,
right.
The news is going to do the one. But it's funny, it's starting a trend because Oscar Blues is based in Colorado, and now Coors is like seeing what's happening around them with their biggest competitor, Budweiser, and their smallest competitor, Oscar Blues. And now, but it's good, right? It's all good. Coors
every day, the donations keep going up. More celebrities are getting involved. I saw
it's an arms race on who can outside, which is great, though.
It's awesome, yeah.
It's an arms race for good.
George Strait is trying to get the country music industry and world together and to do a big thing.
Well, that's where they're like. Aren't they based? Like, that's Houston. I mean, that's
right.
That's
as
country
Texas.
As it gets,
Yeah, with Nashville and Houston, right? That's your country, country meccas. And we've got a guy on the line here. Go ahead, man.
Hey, that deal with Budweiser, they've been doing that for years as far as like helping out in natural disasters. I was in an earthquake in Coalinga in 1983, and the Budweiser brewery down in Southern California sent up truckloads of water that was bottled in their 40-ounce bottles.
What's it like drinking water out of a 40?
At the time, when you're thirsty, it tastes really, really good.
You know what?
I felt a little ghetto, though.
But I think it's kind of cool, actually. I mean, bottled water, they're always looking for an angle to sell us something that comes free out of a tap for $2 to $3 a bottle. Hell, why don't we go with 40s of water? The only bottled water that comes in a 40.
I tell you, it was really ghetto because they were the brown bottles. Remember the old brown bottles?
Yes, that's awesome.
And there was no labels on them, but you knew they were a beer bottle. And like I said, it was really ghetto, but it was really good when you're thirsty.
Anita wrote in a couple of minutes ago. She apparently Miller and Coors, they donated too, but they only did 50,000.
50,000 cans or cases?
50,000 cans of water. So you have Budweiser doing 500,000. This looks like really, really bad for Coors if you're doing this.
Coors Lat.
Because Budweiser's doing 500,000. You're doing 50,000. But then that craft brewery down the street from you,
was doing 88.
Oscar Blues. They shut down their production. And they did 88,000.
Where are you getting this 50,000 number from? Anita, or is this
Anita?
From, okay,
yeah.
I would think they would do more than 50,000. That's not very many.
Yeah, because the
maybe 50,000 cases.
Budweiser plant in Georgia is shutting down their beer production for a week.
Wow. Yeah, just total.
Yeah, it's going to be all water into these cans and shipped out to Hurricane Harvey victims.
You think the water tastes like beer at all?
No, but I would hope.
Are they using the same canning machine?
I would hope every once in a while. Like, they threw like a golden ticket in there,
Like, damn, this water's good. As long as it's cold, really cold.
You'd be like, oh, bonus, I got a beer. Cool.
We were asking people earlier if they've ever had anything thrown at them because this gal in our dumbass of the day peed in a cup and threw it on the bus driver because she was unhappy with her. And we're getting all kinds of great responses. We had a teacher write in that a student threw a chair at her. God, I'm thinking, James Andren was...
Oh, James. Yeah, I know James.
James Andren was in my second grade class.
Oh, okay.
He threw an apple at the teacher. And
what happened to him? What was the repercussions for throwing an apple?
She grabbed him by the ear, and she yanked his. Oh, it was fourth grade. He grabbed him by the ear, ripped his ass out of the seat, and took him to the principal's office. But I just remember it was so weird after something like that happens because he gets up, he calls her a bitch, and he throws the apple at her. It misses, it hits the chalkboard, and it just
splatters.
It must have been a bad apple. It just splattered everywhere, and she just didn't say anything. She goes, "Little man," and she picks him up by the ear and she takes him out, and then we're all just sitting there like, teacher's gone. Whoa, what just happened? And it's like you're all just looking around like,
That's going to be tough for a teacher.
did that really happen? And nobody knew what to do. We just sat there.
That's going to be tough for a teacher because teacher has to deal with the situation. But then, like, what does a teacher do in that situation? She calls because they have phones in the room now. They didn't have phones in the room when we were kids, but they have phones in the room now where they call the
I
principal's
had a phone in the room when I was a kid.
Oh, we didn't.
Ghetto school. Dude.
Yeah, it was. Bow Lake Elementary was a terrible school. Now, I drove by it when I was back home this last time, and I was like, that's not the school I went to. They pour some serious cash into schools now.
It was right below the clock and the speaker. Then there was a little, no
the
phone
clock
at
was
all,
up above the door,
Oh,
and there
I
was
see.
no phone. When we got to high school, it had just been remodeled, and we had phones in the room in high school. We were thinking, man, this high school is high tech. That's what they must mean by high school. But what do? You call the principal's office. Or you handle the situation yourself, because do you want to sit there and wait? What are you going to do? The Jeopardy waiting game. All right, you're in trouble, man. Wait till somebody comes here and deals with you. Or do you just take the situation and deal with it yourself? But then when you do that, you're leaving a classroom behind 30 other students that who knows what kind of chaos could take place while you're gone, taking that kid to the
Right.
What did you guys do?
We were all just so stunned. It was like, did that really happen? Nobody did anything. I was like, well, we should do something. Like something, we should get in the teacher's desk.
Did the teach come back, and was she flustered? Did she seem flustered, or did she act cool as a cucumber?
No, she came back in, and she apologized for the outburst, and she said, why doesn't everybody turn to chapter 7 and pick up reading, and then until the bell goes off and you go out to recess. Christy writes in, this is super awkward. She said the first time she met her friend's dad, he threw a sex toy at her. A female sex toy.
That is gross. Wait, like what?
Like, how old was she? That's what I want to know.
It's a male sex toy, but meant for females. Because when you say female sex toy, it makes me think,
it's a female uses this sex toy.
Yes, a female would most likely use
I think everybody knows what we're talking about.
I don't know. When you say it's a female sex toy, I think of something else.
Oh, my God. This next one. In the eye. We got Mark on the line.
Okay, Mark, I got to ask you, how do you put yourself in a situation where Tabasco is getting put into your eyes?
It was actually a pretty innocent situation. We were at the dinner table, and my brother picked up the bottle of Tabasco and decided that he was going to shake it really hard, and when he shook it, the lid came off, and the Tabasco went everywhere, and it was like totally unexpected, and got a face full of Tabasco.
Did you have to go to the hospital?
No, but it was very unpleasant.
Yeah,
did you get him back? I don't care.
It was funny because my dad was a big Tabasco guy, and I was probably maybe 12 years old at the time, and none of us as little kids would touch the stuff because it was just too hot, and so I get it in my eye, and my dad's like, just buck up. It's just a little Tabasco.
You dick!
Yeah. Why don't you try it, Dad?
Yeah, oh, really? Tell me how it feels, Dad.
I'm trying to find my way over to the kitchen sink, and my eyes are completely swollen up.
Yeah, you think they're going to pop out of your head at that point, I'm imagining, right? You're like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to be able to see again?
Exactly.
And so
not the kind of experience that you want to have with Tabasco right away.
Quit being such a pansy. It's just a little Tabasco.
Do you remember when in the 80s, when you'd go out to eat, the glasses weren't clear. They were kind of a orangish color. They were kind of my dad thought it was always funny to pull pranks on me, so he used to put Tabasco in my water. And so, because he hated the fact that every time we went to the restaurant, and I was a little kid, I was like, gotta go to the bathroom. They're like, okay, go to the bathroom. And I'm just bored. So I come back, I take a drink of my water, I spit it all over my mom.
Yeah.
Backfired on him because she knew what happened, and she was like, that was not cool.
She was mad at Dad, not at you.
That's
Tabasco
a dad
pranks.
thing, too. He's not thinking past the moment.
Right, exactly. Only in the moment. That's what we do as dads.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate sharing the
Remember
story.
my friend that I was telling you about earlier that would He's a really good golfer, and when he would take his not so good golfer friends out in order to highlight the fact that he was a much better golfer than us. He was going to mess with us in our backswing, so he would throw pebbles at us as we were in our backswing, and like hit us with little harmless pebbles. But the thing is, you never knew when he was going to do it, so it ruined every single one of your backswings. Well, go figure, he's a prankster. And I remember this one time we were on this road trip. We were in the middle of nowhere, and we like found a diner to eat lunch, and everybody was hungry, but nobody had any money. And especially our friend Ernie. Ernie had literally enough to afford a big Sprite, okay? And that's what he was going to have for lunch, was just this big Sprite. So Ernie orders.
That sucks. Nobody chipped in to help him out.
No, because we're not really good friends. And I mean, we're good friends, but we're not good friends. You know.
Yeah, you're dicks.
Yeah. and we're like, oh, it's too bad you're just gonna get a Sprite. So then the lady, the Flo, she goes.
I'd have murdered you.
Ernie orders the Sprite, and it's hot, and I think we'd been drinking for days, and it's it's summertime, and all we want to do is get home, and all Ernie wants is some carbohydrates in the way of Sprite. You know, he wants to hydrate, get some carbohydrates, and be refreshed by the nectar of the gods that is Sprite. And he walks. And he goes, I gotta go to the bathroom. He goes in the bathroom, and the waitress brings the Sprite. And what does Tim do? Tim grabs.
I would have choked him out.
They didn't have Tabasco sauce on the table, but they had ketchup on the table. Takes a drink out of the Sprite, and dumps ketchup in the Sprite. And Ernie comes back. He's like, "Oh, cool!" And he, without even like saying anything to anybody, takes a big swig of the Sprite.
Oh my God, I'd murder the guy. What kind of jerk does that? What did Ernie do? Did he throw it in his face?
Got pissed off, went out and sat in the car.
Oh God. He didn't throw the freaking Sprite at him?
I would have thrown it in his face.
Oh, would have killed him.
But then Tim was the kind of guy that you never wanted to get into a prank battle with, because he was always going to get the best of you.
This is your last dollar, your last dime to your name. All you can afford is a soda.
Sometimes you just got to drink some ketchup.
You already feel like crap.
Sometimes you got to drink some ketchup and go and sit in the car. That's called
Take your medicine?
Taking your medicine, yes.
Oh my God, I would have killed him. That is such
93.3 KZOZ rocks. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.